beauty as a form of art, as a bright phenomenon in the world. Painting, watercolor, graphics, sculpture, art and crafts in the program KazArt. In today's program, the space and time of Dorian Dusmagambetov, from the dynasty of sculptors, from Isolde to Instagirl, Citizen, Yesterday and Today. Sculptor Dorian Dusmagambetov is our contemporary. He lives in the largest metropolitan of Kazakhstan. Dorian was born and grew up in Almaty. First of all, he is a man of our time, with his concerns and everyday problems. But only the artist's worldview, feelings and thoughts acquire real forms in his sculptures, absolutely unordinary and expressive, like a challenge to an indifferent society. He is a creator. The works of Dorian Dusmagambetov are exciting and they surprise us, they carry us off.
Художник сверхтонкий, сверхчувствительный, не фотоаппарат, рентгеновский.
The artist is super sensitive. He is like not the camera, but the X-ray apparatus. The X-ray. He sees all these moments. These moments are broken to pieces inside of his soul. They are condensed. And his works that he creates are the quintessence of the world surrounding him. He fixes it, and at this moment, his works don't belong to time and space anymore. Each artist captures the world around him and compresses it to the size of his work, and leaves it in the future.
Мир вокруг себя, сжимает его до размера своего произведения и оставляет его в будущее.
For connoisseurs of art sculpture, a personal exhibition of Dorian Dusmagambetov in the Central Exhibition Hall of the State Museum named after Kosteyev became a highlight event in the cultural life of the Republic, Sculpture in the Space. So the author called his exhibition. First of all, it was the result of his activity from the first years of the 21st century to the present day. The artist is involved in experimenting endlessly. The range of topics is huge. In the center of his work is the spiritual world of his contemporaries.
Я увидела какую-то необычную скульптуру. Во-первых, я увидела...
I saw some unusual sculpture, a very vivid and very modern sculpture, very non-trivial, because it approaches the images and comes up with images of Dorian Dusmagambetov. This is unlike anyone. If we look at even the names, then these names are always the names of the riddle. They always hide some kind of mystery or inclusiveness of the viewer. They always assume that the viewer will think and experience. This desire to rise art over everyday life, over ordinary life.
Дориан берется за скульптуру, то чтобы сказать нечто важное и значительное, важное прежде всего для самого себя.
Dorian Dusmagambetov is from the dynasty of Kazakh sculptors. His father, Dorian Dusmagambetov, is one of the founders of the Kazakh monumental sculpture, laureate of the State Prize of the Republic, honored artist of Kazakhstan. And his mother, Olga Prokopieva, is an outstanding monumental sculptor, laureate of the Walihonov State Prize. They are from the generation of legendary artists whose works have entered the golden font of Kazakh art.
The
family in which Dorian Dusmagambetov was born is the family of two great masters, and his fate was predetermined from birth. He could not become anyone else but an artist. and this art was meant to be a sculpture, because both Tuligen Sabitovich Dosmagambetov and Olga Grigorievna are such unique sculptors, talented, who have done a lot, because all life was devoted to this serving, and only this passion was the main passion of their life. The passion and desire for the art of sculpture was passed on to their son. In 1994, Daurian graduated from the College of Decorative Applied Art, named after Tantsykbaev. Then, in 1999, the Kazakh National Academy of Arts, named after Zhurgenev. He held classes and created. But he began showing his interest in creativity much earlier. When he was at school, Daurian spent all his time in his father's workshop, lived in an atmosphere of admiration for art. He examined the world of bright personalities.
Это мастерская моего отца, которая досталась нам с братом по наследству.
This is my father's workshop, which my brother and I inherited. My brother and I worked together in this creative space. In this workshop, I used to come to this workshop after school. From the kindergarten, they brought us here. It was interesting here. Interesting people used to come here. Representatives of the 60s, artists, poets, writers, actors. Interesting conversations were conducted in this workshop. They talked about how they were filming and who they met with. They argued about art, about music and literature. They were friends of my father and mother. Asanali Ashimov, Kakimbek Salykov, Kauken Kinjitaev paid visits. That is all the creative elite of that era.
То есть вся творческая элита той эпохи.
Dosmagambetov brothers often made sculptures together with their parents, were their apprentices, and learned about their main profession in their lives. Daurian, as a 14-year-old teenager, worked with his father on the image of the great Kazakh poet Ilyas Jansugurov. The older the brothers became, the more complicated were the sculptural works on which they worked together with their main teachers, parents. Daurian was a member of creative groups that, under the guidance of his father, Tuligen Dosmagambetov, created a monumental sculptures of Ahmet Baytursunov in Kostanay, decorative compositions of Barsy in Astana, and many others. With my mother, with Daurian, we sculpted the monument to Satpaev in Pavlodar. We have quite a lot of such joint great works. We lived in this sculpture world, and we continue living in it. Times change, and we, sculptors, work for eternity. The monument to the first Kazakh geologist, the founder of the Academy of Sciences of Kazakhstan, Kanysh Imantayevich Satpaev, is one of the monumental creations of Tuligen Dosmagambetov and his wife Olga Prokopieva, in which the sons of sculptors took part too. It was 1999, when in the center of Almaty, in front of the building of the Kazakh National Technical University, was erected a monument of an outstanding personality, immortalized in bronze and becoming the personification of all Kazakhstan science. And to this day, the monolith of the walking figure of academician Satpaev at the main entrance of the largest university in the Republic meets another young generation who choose the path of knowledge. Remembering the parents of my husband, I often feel grateful for the fact that they brought up him well and showed an example of how to raise children. As far as I remember, when I came to this family, neither Tuligen Sabitovich nor Olga Grigorievna, they never prized their children. They did not spoil their children. They were always strict and demanding. Especially, First of all, when it comes to creativity, they passed on their children their talent and always taught them that 90% of the success depends on hard-working nature, on efficiency, and constantly demanded from their sons a careful high regard, conscientious attitude to works, and Daurian inherited it.
Отношение, добросовестного отношения к произведениям. И Даурен это унаследовал.
The image of a woman plays a great role in the creative life of the sculptor. Despite the fact that Daurian uses such hard materials as granite, chamot and bronze, he manages to find a gentle plastic solution. An elegant and fragile Isolde, his thesis work, a figure from the medieval epic, is made in bronze. He sculpts daughter, wife, goddesses, their emotions and moods. He is like an illusionist who turns a piece of air in bronze and gives it volume, plasticity, weightlessness, but the main thing is breathing life energy. This is what his compositions Oriental Silk Robe, Insta-Girl, the image of the modern young lady, Unity, and many other female images look like. So much passion in bronze, so much fire in ceramics, which amazingly managed to convey the temperament, boiling temperament in such complex materials as chamot or bronze. This is not possible for every sculptor, let's say masters of the old school. I was amazed this frankness, which is on the brink with the challenge. Daurian manages to make exactly the art. It is difficult to show the woman's feelings, to show her essence. The work Fallen, this such allegory, such a metaphor, an upside-down world. The world turned upside down, the world fell to the ground. Many used such a composition since Caravaggio in his famous canvases. A dreamy bull, a sad Pegasus, a lonely and angry cat, figures of animals, but dreams and suffering of human. The artist conveys his feelings, thoughts about lack of spirituality, loneliness, unfulfilled dreams in the collective image of modern man. The challenge thrown by the sculptor is addressed to the world of people. Allegory, grotesque, eccentricity, such definitions and epithets often heard from the critics about the works of Daurian Dosmagambetov. Daurian becomes more and more expressionist. He has a very dynamic, sometimes sharpish sculpture, which is exactly in its style. Sculptor Daurian Dosmagambetov is a master of reincarnations, an experimenter, an innovator, art critics and critics affirm. A strong and powerful bull jumped up but could not overcome the Earth's gravity. Just like people, high thoughts, noble goals, but there will be no flight. The fault is the gravity. Or maybe it's just that someone did not believe in a dream.
Вот эта скульптура называется «Небо в небо». У группы Ленинград есть такая песня.
This sculpture is called I Would Go to Heaven. The Leningrad group has such a song. I would go to heaven, I would go to heaven. Here I was, and there I was not. But this is also one of my moods and states. This work was born in the first years or two after the graduation from the institute, when it seemed that I have learned something involved in creative life, and then I realized, first, how little I know, and second, there were very strong doubts about the correctness of the chosen path. These are the doubts which accompany each artist. All of them can be gathered and expressed in this thing. Even a big, fat, heavy, multi-kilogram, multi-centered bull, he also dreams of flying like a butterfly. He would also be in heaven. It seems to me that Daurian Dosmagambetov today is an absolutely interesting, independent and original sculptor, unlike anybody, with his own style and handwriting. Sculpture is after all a special kind of art. It must portray and express the indepicable, must portray thoughts, feelings and sometimes the hidden inner deep meaning. Many sculptural images of Daurian Dosmagambetov embody the whole chord of human passions. A homeless cat who found shelter in the bad weather on the warm cover of the sewer hedge, and the artist calls this cat a town dweller. There is a hungry, angry and lonely cat in front of us. The ribs of the gaunt animal are similar to the shark's gill. A cat's grin is predatory and threatening. The sculptor who has passed by characterized the cat like this.
Этот кот – это мы все, городские жители. А люди, которые урвали себе вроде бы маленькие...
This cat, we are all city dwellers. People who snatched a small warm place, a daily bread for today. As soon as I saw this, I was so impressed by this moment that I came to the workshop, and the first thing I did was fixing this feeling, this condition, using the handy material that was available. Then I was interested in ceramics. I had about 200 works made in ceramics. I really like ceramics, because it is a fast-reacting material, and you can quickly sculpt sculpture, and you immediately see it in the final material. Plus, it has the warmth of fire, there is solidity of the earth, and there are colors, not chemical ones, but the colors of the sky, the color of the earth, the color of the grass, all natural colors.
Собственно говоря, цвет неба, цвет земли, цвет травы, цвет естественный, мировой цвет.
After many years, Daurian will return to this work, but with a new baggage of knowledge, sensations and life experience. The artist will rethink the image that emerged once more emotionally. He will again create his own town man, but this time in bronze. His hero became more rigid, predatory and empty. The artist's soul cannot reconcile with the world of people who have less room for high spiritual values. Again and again, he molds himself, or rather his state of mind, and every work of the sculptor becomes a revelation and challenge, and the artist takes the highest criteria, starting with the works of Michelangelo, Botticelli, Leonardo and Raphael.
Я очень горжусь своим отцом, потому что это человек, который...
I am very proud of my father, because it's the person who creates, and each of his work has a special meaning. I believe he is a modern artist. In the future, I would like to see that everyone will get acquainted with the work of my father. It seems to me that everyone would enjoy them. Space and time are changing rapidly, and only the talent and inspiration of the artist are able to capture all the moments and changes in the world. Sculptor Daurian Dosmagambetov, one of the most effective sculptors of the modern galaxy of Kazakh artists, managed to impersonate the collective image of a modern man with his thoughts and feelings in the most timeless natural materials.